Hi, I'm Amy Porter, and this is my podcast.
Hi, guys.
My mission is to show people how to empower themselves through music, business, and media. I try to see as clearly as possible how I can help. I showcase the music that I've played and the people I've met along the way. I'm a wife and a stepmom. You might know me as a professor, a performer, a producer, a publisher, a recording artist. I'm the founder of a couple of nonprofits. Welcome in to my PorterFlute Pod. Welcome to PorterFlute Pod. It's Season 8, Episode 7, and it's our Business 101 theme with our guest, Mercedes Smith. Mercedes Smith has served as principal flute of the Utah Symphony since 2012, and she previously held the same position with the Houston Grand Opera and Houston Ballet Orchestras. So Mercedes' musical journey began early with Manhattan School of Music with Michael Parloff and Jeannie Baxtresser. She won first prize at the NFA Young Artist Competition in 2010, and she's performed in Carnegie Hall throughout Europe and Asia and has been at renowned music festivals. Never one to idle, Mercedes turned the pandemic into an opportunity, obtaining a real estate license and earning an MBA from the University of Utah. Her latest endeavor is the creation of Blackstrad, a line of concert attire designed for the modern musician. She resides in Salt Lake City. Blackstrad was founded by Mercedes Smith, a professional flutist who spent over 20 years performing more than 100 concerts a year. After decades of wearing clothes that were clearly not made for musicians in mind, she set out to change that with concert attire designed by someone who actually lives and works on the stage. Her approach to concert attire is simple. If it's not breathable, washable, and movable, it doesn't belong on stage. She wants modern designs that meets professional dress codes. She wants soft, lightweight fabrics worn by professional full-time musicians. She wants machine washable everything, really. She also offers coordinated mix and match sets. No more one style fits none dress codes. Separates that can be worn off stage. That has maximum versatility. She also has real reviews from real performers. And lastly, most traditional concert wear, whether it's cheap or pricey, they were never designed for performers. Heavy structure, thick linings, and stiff fabrics, they make it harder to move and make it even harder to breathe under the stage lights. That's why she's offering Blackstrad. They went in the opposite direction for suiting. Minimal structure, maximum mobility. Just enough shoulder padding for shape, but everything else is designed to move with you. From soft stretch crepes to power mesh and airy linings, every detail is intentional. Better fabrics, better fit. And yes, it's all been worn and road tested by professionals. Mercedes Smith, welcome to PorterFlute Pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy that you're here because you deal in something very close to my heart, which is clothing.
Yes, so fun.
So I read your bio, and many flutists listen to PorterFlute Pod. So we really want to know first about your musical journey and getting into the Utah Symphony.
Sure. Well, to go way back, I started playing the flute in Texas in the middle school band program, just like in the public school band program. So go public school funded band programs. And then my family, we later moved to Arkansas. We actually ended up in really a rural area of Arkansas. And I was being homeschooled at that point. And my mom was great. She went really as hard as she could to find me a great teacher in Arkansas. And I was very lucky and had a teacher at the university that took me when I was, like 13 or 14 years old. And she was my only teacher, and I was living a pretty isolated life at that time. And I was kind of desperate, as many teenagers are, to get out. And I wanted to go to New York City so badly and study with Jeannie Baxtresser. That was when her excerpt book came out and her CDs, and I was just so in love with her. So I was practicing probably 5 hours a day when I was in Arkansas because I was being homeschooled. And yeah, my teacher at the time, she helped me apply to colleges when I was 16, and I got into the Manhattan School of Music. And I went there and I had a great time in New York City. I loved it. And during that time, Miss Baxter actually quit teaching in New York, and then I had to switch teachers, which was, it seems sad, but you know how everything works out in the end. So I ended up switching to Michael Parloff, who was principal flutist of the Metropolitan Opera at that time. So through him, I learned opera excerpts because he released his opera excerpt book while I was studying with him. And I was super excited about it. I told him I want to learn all of these excerpts, and he was totally gung-ho to dive into it with me. And we went through all of that. And then it was my senior year of college. I was then 20 because I started early. And I was like, I want to take an audition. And he's like, you should apply for Houston Grand Opera. And I was like, okay. And I sent my resume in. And then a few weeks later, he was like, whatever happened with the Houston Grand Opera audition? I was like, oh, they rejected my resume. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I don't know, because I'm 20 and stupid, I guess. And he was like, give me their phone number. I'll talk to them. And so anyway, needless to say, I got an audition at Houston Grand Opera, and that was my first audition, which I won. And that was my first job, was principal flute at Houston Grand Opera. And it's sort of a part-time job where the opera and the ballet share one concert hall, and with the ballet. So I didn't yet play for the ballet, and I learned that actually in 1 year there was going to be a principal flute opening at the ballet as well. So I prepared for that audition next, and then that was the second audition I ever took, which I also won. And then that was sort of a full-time job. The opera and ballet kind of made a whole season together in the same hall. So I did that for about 9 years. And I took many auditions after that, many that I lost and failed at over and over again, like 20 more probably. So it's not all overnight success to anyone who thinks, oh, that's incredible, she wins everything. No, you just hear about the things that I win. So yeah, like 20 auditions later, I won. So now I'm principal flutist of the Utah Symphony here in Salt Lake City, and I've been here 13 years now. I guess I'm starting my 14th season. It's
Beautiful.
wild.
So you were buying off the rack to, like we all did. Let me just tell you a very quick story is that I found a tuxedo dress. And when I left the Atlanta Symphony, the women in that orchestra came up to me and were like placing dibs on that dress because I was leaving. You're not going to need that tux dress. Because if you find an orchestral outfit that fits the bill, it was like gold. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you decided to start a concert attire business. So, what inspired you to start your concert attire business? And was there a particular moment or frustration that sparked the idea?
There's certainly a lot to unpack there, as you can imagine. I think I had kind of tossed around that idea for a while of trying to do something with clothing or formal wear, but I didn't know how to execute. I just didn't know what to do. And I didn't think it would make any money. I thought, well, it still may not make any money. I'm just getting started here, but so far it's starting to make money. I knew I wanted to sell to professional musicians. I Googled concert attire. And one thing I noticed was that choir dresses, if we're talking about even professional choirs that wear all the same dress, or high school choir, which is really the big business, is high school choirs. There's a number of companies that sell to high school choirs, and it's crazy. They all are selling like the same dress, basically, or the same few dresses. It's the exact same pattern from the 80s or 90s, and they're still selling this. And I guess I was just surprised at how the sea of sameness that I saw. And I thought, certainly no one was making anything for professionals at all. But when I saw what was happening for high school students, it seemed like there was room to innovate. And then actually my stepdaughter, who is a senior in high school now, when she would have been like 15 at the time, she came home from choir with that identical dress, like the same dress that everyone has. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not imagining it. Like they have no options for some reason that I don't understand. So I kind of had that idea, like there is a bigger market to sell to when you think of all the high schools in the country that have choir programs, junior high schools too, bands as well. And then I think that kind of realization was also coupled with here at the Utah Symphony, we changed our dress code. It was mostly a change for the men, actually. They went from wearing white tie and tails to wearing an all black uniform, or just a dress code, an all black dress code. And, we had, of course, a lot of meetings with a lot of contentious discussion that happened because dress codes are the hardest thing to change, apparently, in an orchestra. And, there was a gentleman in our orchestra who made a comment that I think a lot of women considered kind of controversial or maybe rude, and I'm going to get some heat for this. I actually kind of agree with him on this. He felt like, he was in favor of wearing tails and he likes to be really dressed up. But what bothered him was that because the women could just wear all black, a lot of the women were wearing like athletic track pants, like dressy athleisure, cardigan sweaters that were kind of like a knit cardigan. Like he was saying that the women really should be a lot more dressed up. And a lot of women took offense to that, as was my initial instinct as well. But then I realized the reason why the women aren't as dressed up is because we just actually don't have that many options. It's very hard, as you just mentioned with your tuxedo dress that you used to perform in, it's very hard to find a long sleeve, all black dress that reaches the ground or covers your ankles or whatever it needs to do. It almost always has a slit. It has a plunging back. It has a very plunging front. It'll have some weird cutouts going on. It'll have excessive amounts of bling or rhinestones stuck on it. There's just always a fatal flaw with a black dress, it seems. It's almost impossible to find one. And everybody thinks, oh, you can find black dresses anywhere. No, not that meet the dress code. You really cannot. It is the most difficult thing to find.
Well, let's talk fabric. Let's talk stitching.
Heat on the stage too. I mean, you can find something, but maybe it'll be like corseted and just all kinds of
Girl, I
problems.
get you.
It
Yes.
needs to be comfortable, but you want to look polished. And I think the guys don't realize how easy they have it with, oh, they just put on the suit or the tuxedo or whatever, and they're done and they look formal. And I know they're hot, they're roasting on stage. That's miserable. And I want to fix that for them too. But for the women, like our best option has always been buying black dresses in the mother of the bride section at like David's Bridal or something. That's what always got you completely covered everywhere. And those dresses are designed for women who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, which isn't really the general age of a symphony orchestra. So that's kind of when I realized women do need more formal looking options. Matching sets options, either dresses or true matching sets, because, and I am totally guilty of just putting cobbled together outfits, nothing matches, and you say, oh, well, black goes with everything, all the blacks match, but they don't always, and that can be okay, and contrasting materials can be great too. But I think you feel and look more put together when you're either wearing a dress or you're wearing a matching set, and sort of like a suit. But I haven't so far made suits, but that's been the idea behind it.
I see. I love that. And I suppose it's a good money saver to not buy separates a lot of the time. I end up with a closet full of tops and a closet full of bottoms and kind of hope they go together.
Sure, and everybody does. And what I tried to, my very initial collection was 2 tops, 2 pants, and 2 skirts. And the idea was that you could wear the top with the pants, or you could wear it with the skirt if you needed a dressier look, or depending on the occasion or the type of concert, so that you could mix and match. It was more of a capsule wardrobe. So you could go to your closet and you would know it's going to go together, and you don't have to do all this thinking of how do I put it together.
Functionality.
Yes, simplicity.
Yes. And then I'm sure that your background as a performer is influencing all this. Let me ask you, are there pockets?
There are pockets in all the pants,
Hidden.
absolutely.
Okay, so when you make a gown for me, like the ball gown for the soloist, can I have like these just ever so hidden pocket for the rag, just to
You know what?
That's
We're
what you
going to
pick.
work on that. The two dresses that I have right now are a little more form-fitting through the hips. And, if you add pockets, then you add a little bit of bulk in that area.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that, and I absolutely love pockets myself. So they're
Okay.
coming.
So they're in the pant. So that brings me to form fitting versus, fuller, but you're doing the kind of the tailored look right now as the initial launch comes in, right?
The pants are wide leg pants, but they're fitted through the waist and the hips, I think, to give some structure.
Mhm.
And one of the skirts I have is a little more form fitting. It's more of a column, kind of straight up and down type skirt. And our best selling skirt is the cello skirt for obvious reasons, because it's wide enough. It's an A-line skirt that you can play the cello in it. And that one does really well because it's an easier fit for everyone.
So you are fitting a dress code, and it's traditional and restrictive, as you said in your meeting when the Utah Symphony changed. So, do you think you're just incorporating style and comfort and professionalism all at the same time to serve musicians?
I certainly hope that's the goal, is to
Okay.
put it all together. Of course, each of those things might mean something slightly different to each person, and depending on the instrument they play, or their body type, or their age, or how they want to present themselves. So my brand may not be for everyone, but I hope to make it broadly appealing. I think most women feel a little more confident when they are a little more dressed up, but I am one of those people who tends to be on a little bit of an overdressed side. And I do feel like it makes me feel more confident when I do that.
Hmm.
And not everyone is like that. But I hope to offer them something that's really comfortable, that's lightweight, that's they're not going to be super hot on stage wearing, that is going to help them look put together and professional.
So those are the cuts and kind of the design philosophies that define your brand. Are there specific materials you're using? Are you using one material or several?
Everything's an experiment. So we are changing some materials. We have all different kinds of materials that we've been using. One common theme is kind of like sheer styles, like what I'm wearing right now, kind of mesh sleeves. I feel like anytime you're walking through a department store and you see a black blouse with sheer sleeves, you go orchestra top. Your mind kind of just goes there, because I think women like the sheer sleeves, because I mean, I guess maybe it looks a little bit sexier, but also, it's going to be lighter weight. And it also can look really great on stage to have that kind of color contrast between the opaque black and kind of sheer, semi-sheer black. So we're using more mesh. We start out with chiffon for sleeves, and now we're using more mesh. And what we have coming out this weekend, this top that I'm wearing right now, and then also that dress that's coming, are going to be made of a stretchier crepe fabric that should be a little more forgiving for everyone, and hopefully a little bit more comfortable than the previous fabrics we've been using.
So we've gone into some of the brand design and materials and cuts. Tell us about some of your biggest challenges that you're facing launching and growing your business.
Well, I mean, I think the first and most obvious thing is that I'm a professional flutist and I don't have any sewing experience or really design experience. So I had to kind of school myself in a lot of different things. I did get an MBA during the COVID time, so I felt like I had learned business stuff, kind of, at least gotten a good start on it. Of course, but fashion and patterns, that I know nothing about. So what I do is I sketch out a design, like literally just a sketch. It's not perfectly to scale. Sometimes I put in some measurements here and there, and then I send that to my team. I started in LA, manufacturing in LA, and now we're manufacturing in China. So I send it now to China, and then they make the very first sample. So they take my sketch, they turn it into a pattern, then they make a sample from it. Then they mail me that sample, and then we go back and forth trying to fix the sample until it's perfect. And this can take months. It can be unbelievably long, and occasionally they nail it on the first or second try. So I don't know how to make that process go faster. When I was doing it in LA, it was interminably slow. And maybe that's kind of just how it is. It's also a little bit slow in China as well. And I did go to China this summer to try and speed up that process, to just go there for a week. and hang out in the pattern room and just get a whole bunch of samples made. And we did manage to get, a handful, 5 to 10 pieces really going during that time. So it's just slow to develop products. If you want to get the fit right, if you're kind of second guessing the fabric, it's a lot like practicing a concerto or something. Maybe you are trying to record a CD or something, and you're like, when is it ready? When am I done practicing? And if you're a perfectionist, you want to keep perfecting that, right? And at a certain point, it's not going to get any better, or you just need to put the product out there, right? It's done. We just have to call it done at some point. I think it's been hard for me to know that. I think sometimes I pulled the trigger too early and things weren't quite right, and that's very expensive. There were other times I think I waited a little bit too long, and we could have put like an earlier version out and it would have been just fine. So that's a learning process, but I have a feeling everybody goes through that because, again, even you and I probably as professional flutists having done this for decades are still sort of like, gosh, I would love to record that again, or let's do that again. Like still need another try.
Yes.
So, and it's
Yes.
been expensive to start a business, obviously, because there's inventory. So you have to buy all of these clothes and hold it until it sells, essentially. And some things sell faster than other things do. So it's been a bit of a risk, but sales have been picking up the last few months. So it's been going really well lately.
Oh, good. Good.
Thank you.
I started lean. I buy 10 breathing buddies at a time. So my margin just is not big. If
Yeah.
anybody thinks you make a lot of money doing your favorite entrepreneurial skill, you're going to spend a lot more money just figuring it out. And as one of the leaders that I follow, Jen Kim, says you need to do the right hard things. And quite often, Mercedes, you'll agree, sometimes we get stuck doing the wrong hard things. We're like, why am I spinning my wheels? Because we should be over here doing this. So, yeah, back at you. I feel you. I am, just coming out with the book was a big deal. And putting it on the cover, right? Because people still call it Amy's thing. So we're trying to graduate everyone to calling it my breathing buddy and bringing it into touchless teaching. So the message goes on, right? You're going to change the way that everyone thinks about Black concert attire, and I'm all for it. I love this. Okay, so back to you. Balancing roles as a performer and a business owner. Yes, it is very, very difficult because they both demand your artistry and structure. So here's how I do it. Tell me how you do it. I am only who I am when I'm doing what I'm doing. Does that make sense? You do what you do while you're doing it. So I'm not going to be thinking about my concerto while I'm trying to give my family, my husband, 100% attention. I'm not going to be thinking about school when I'm doing a concerto. So I put school on hold. I take that week off. I do the thing, and that's it. I take Fridays just for my business. I don't teach students. So I do the thing and, concentrate on one thing at a time. Do you have the luxury of doing that?
I think you're succeeding at compartmentalizing much better than I am.
Oh,
um,
well, I'm older.
well, I hope to get there one day as well. I think, obviously my job with Utah Symphony is paramount. That is what is paying the bills. That is the most stable job. It is what I love to do. And that's always going to come first. So like you, I think I can go to rehearsal or be at the concert and I'm just Mercedes Smith, principal flutist. At home practicing, am I absolutely failing at checking my phone to look at whatever emails came in? Customers want to return something, they want to make an exchange, they have a question about a product. This thing on the website's broken. So then I'm trying to fix that. So I think outside of the actual services or rehearsals and concerts, outside of that, it's just like this incredible mismatch of me doing everything all at once. So the beautiful thing about running the business is that, that most stuff can be done kind of whenever, right? So there's a little break in time, then I can look at Instagram and go through the DMs really quick. I can respond to some, I get home from rehearsal. I usually sit down for 30 minutes and deal with whatever emails came in that day. Because it's just like a constant flow, and people do need answers. And I love to offer really great customer service. I hope to. So I think it's just it was really crazy when I was doing a lot of social media, because that was just insane. That was like every bathroom break I was on Instagram and just constantly. I did temporarily hire someone to help me, and she mostly really just encouraged me to kind of put myself out there more on social media, which I did, and she was very successful helping me do that. But that's another problem if you're going to talk about social media, is that when she was doing the social media for me, the engagement wasn't as great because people wanted to see me doing it. It didn't really work so well with her doing, even though she's more of an influencer than I am, has many, many more followers and much more of a pro at it. But people were expecting a certain style of video or post or something. So yes, I would love to have all these employees, which I feel like we're constantly on the cusp of getting there, to have someone run all of this. But right now it's still actually more efficient for me to do it. And I do just barely have the time. I mean, listen, things fall through the cracks. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
Somebody's order doesn't go out and they tell me a month later, like, where's my stuff? That has almost never happened, but it has happened once or twice. Because I am one human being running the whole show by myself. So I try and give myself some grace that I'm going to make mistakes, and, we fix it for the customer as soon as we can and treat them like queens. There's no balancing it, is the answer. For me, there's no balancing. I'm not doing great at compartmentalizing. It's just kind of a nonstop hamster wheel.
Well, now at Michigan, we teach entrepreneurial skills through the Excel program. Do you think that would have benefited you in school a long time ago? So do you feel that musicians today should develop their entrepreneurial skills?
Absolutely. When I was at the Manhattan School of Music over 20 years ago, there was a music business course of some kind that started while I was there. And I think it was I took it the very first time they ever offered it.
You're on the cusp of everything.
Yeah. So I was very interested in that. And I remember not long after that, when I went to Houston, there was a woman who was teaching at Rice who had heard that I had gone to the class at Manhattan School of Music. And she's like, can I have all of your notes? Because I want to teach this class at Rice now. So maybe it was 20 years ago when sort of all of this started more earnestly. But absolutely, I would encourage all your students to take some kind of business courses, some basic economics. And there's just there's a lot of things that if you don't know about them, you don't know, but it's like pretty simple. And then it will change your way of thinking. And, I think the more diversified you can be as a person, the more broader your knowledge is, the more well-rounded you are, the more successful you're going to be at whatever you end up trying to do.
Well, I know that everyone wants to pursue things outside of music now, because that's kind of what the resumes show. Let's move on to some personal insights and inspiration. You're a musician, a designer. What is it? Some people are listening to this thinking it's success, that now she has a job in an orchestra and she's designing clothes, and people would love to wake up and do that. Now, we know that there are headaches involved, but
A lot of headaches.
but do you, like I do, say I wouldn't trade it for the world? I mean, I'm feeding you a line, but I love it so much.
Let's see. By the way, Blackstrad is just now this week celebrating, where me, myself, and me and Blackstrad are celebrating our 1 year anniversary of launching, which is amazing. So we've been now, yeah, I made my first sale just over a year ago. Just to think about over the year, I think it was so hard to start. It was so hard to get going and to get the first few products. It felt like massive failure after failure the entire time. Now you can go, look at Instagram and it looks like maybe I'm very successful, and we are becoming more successful, but it's been a real struggle. I mean, it was so hard for a while. I wanted to quit several times a day, all the time. It was getting more and more complex. It was way harder than I thought it was going to be. Because I wasn't creating just one product and there was just so much going into it. And it was getting expensive, which was part of the thing. It's like, okay, we just have to put some products out there and start selling some stuff and just get feedback to see how it goes. So I can say now that I don't think about quitting every day. I don't think about quitting at all anymore. So I think I'm on the right track now, and things are, sales are going in a more consistently upward motion. They've always been going up, but more kind of in spurts. And, there just hasn't been enough data to always understand why something's doing poorly right now or why it's doing really well. It could be seasonality, it could be the product, it could be whatever I did on social media did or didn't work. And I think, 5 years from now, this is going to be exciting to look at, because then I'll have actual data to see how and why did the things happen that happened, to learn from that. So I guess it's becoming more successful. Do I consider it a success? We have to define success. That's a struggle, but I feel successful as a flutist.
Good.
Getting a job in a full-time orchestra, 52-week orchestra is an achievement. So I remind myself about that when I feel like I'm failing at everything else.
So what are you most excited about coming up? I want to get excited for you. I want to get excited with you. I want all the listeners to get excited. What are you most excited about?
Well, I'm most excited about the new products we have in the pipeline. We have the electric top coming out this weekend and the Verona dress. I think they're going to be big sellers. I think we're starting on using a new fabric that's going to be stretchier and I think more comfortable and flattering for a wider range of body types. I am still trying to get into menswear, which has been a long promise, which I am absolutely behind on. But we have created some menswear for some school groups that made some large orders. So we are kind of doing a test run of a few pieces, and those will be coming in about a month from now. So I think I'm looking forward to more growth. And I have to remind myself that, I look at other brands, they went viral, they sold out overnight, and that's not what happened for me. And I think when I look at those brands, they really struggle to replicate that virality. They were getting lucky, and I'm happy for them. But to do that over and over again is quite difficult. So I remind myself that I'm happy that Blackstrad is growing organically. It is growing slowly, but in a more predictable manner now. I've got things rolling better systems in place. Mm-hmm. So I find it exciting to know that what I've built, it may be slowly growing, but it is stably growing. So I don't know. I think we have a lot to look forward to. I mostly look forward to learning from my mistakes and making less mistakes in the future, kind of like playing the flute, where it's never going to be perfect and everything's going to be a constant iteration upon what you did before and a constant improvement. And that I am practicing building this business just like I practice my flute and hope to get better. So I try to give myself grace that you learn by doing. Yes. So if you don't do it, you won't learn.
That's right.
And I think something about being a business owner is just like being ready to fail in public a lot and embarrass yourself a lot. So it's kind of like playing the flute. You're going to get up and just screw up sometimes. It's just inevitable. It's just not going to be perfect. And you're going to, hopefully learn from that and make it better next time.
And I think it's more organic to grow in a lean way. So I think we can watch this launch happen of your two new products. Now, Electra, you said it's after the opera. Before we started the podcast, you said it was after the opera Electra. I love that.
Well, I try to give the products kind of music-ish names, but not anything overtly like aria or the sonata dress or something really silly like that. But sort of if you know, like the last dress was the swan dress, which with the idea of the cello solo, the swan. But
Oh, that's awesome. So how many articles do you have so far in your collection?
the first two tops were the Vesper wrap top. That's our best-selling top. It's a really
So
unusual
so you
design.
put it up and do you kind of wrap it around you and tie
Yeah,
it
it
at the
wraps around the
waist?
waist, and
That
you
is
can,
so flattering for all body types.
it's fun and it's asymmetrical.
Okay.
And there's another top, the Lucia top.
After
And
Lucia de
yeah, I was
Lattimore.
also
Okay, what
thinking,
was
that's exactly like
the
Lucia top is made out of a kind of a slightly crinkled satin, and it's also a little bit asymmetrical. It's more of a traditional blousey type style with chiffon sleeves. And then
okay. I'll get that
and
too.
then there's the cello skirt,
Hmm.
which you can play a cello in, and
All
lots
the
of other
cellists.
and lots of other instruments you can play besides the cello while you wear the skirt. Then there was the swan dress came next, and then I've released just a few pieces recently, like the mesh cardigan. They don't all have fun names, but there's the mesh card. It's a long cardigan, like duster type. And then just a mesh top that's totally see-through that you can put under a sleeveless dress, or you can put over a tank top or something to make whatever sleeveless piece you have and love, dress code approved. So just kind of layering pieces like that. There's also like a little bolero, the Oxford bolero.
I would wear those constantly in orchestra.
Yeah, because you have so many sleeveless things that are great, and you just want to put
Hmm.
something super lightweight over it to cover your arms and shoulders.
Well, I was like Queen of Boleros went back in the day when they were here before.
Yeah, well, they're back now.
And then you have the Electra top coming, which is what you're wearing.
That's what I'm wearing.
You know what I
So,
love about that is that one strap is short and one strap's long.
oh yeah, it's just yeah, it's an asymmetrical. I do
I,
a lot of asymmetrical
I just
styles.
love that. It's just an eye-catching thing about the outfit. It's not like, girl, let me just fix your top. It actually looks convincing.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. So that's just very thin mesh for when it's really hot on
Mhm.
stage.
And it's totally stretchy and just feels great to wear.
Okay, so it's stretchy and how and does it come down past your hips?
It's sort of, it comes down a little past the waist. So
Okay.
you just wear hope that you just regular pants or skirt with a high
Okay.
waist is probably ideal to make sure there isn't a gap of any kind. But
Well,
yeah.
this is so exciting. I'm going to leave you with a story. The Atlanta Symphony would make us wear literal golf shirts.
What?
They a cotton collar, two buttons, short sleeves. And this was 1998, 97, 96, right? They decided, okay, we won't put the symphony in, formal at Chastain Park for pops, smelling barbecue chicken. We'll put them in golf shirts. So they were light blue and they said ASO on them. And so these things were this long, right? It didn't matter if you had a medium or a small, they were so long that I could wear it as a dress.
It sounds like they were all men's.
So did I wear it as a dress? No. But I did make a point one day and then another day and then the next day probably, and like I kept making the point that these shirts are too long. We cannot tuck them in because it looks like we have a tire around our waist. You're going to love this. My final show at Chastain for the 1998 season before I went to get my 1999 job, Michigan. I take this golf shirt, I put it on the bed, and I just look at myself and I go, scissors, cut it off. So the shirt looked really good. It hit my waist when I sat down. And then when I stood up, it had like this much belly.
Oops.
No, it was awesome because it was like crop tops were coming in. Why not?
Oh, the late
So,
90s.
oh
Okay.
yeah, 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 for sure crop tops were coming in. Sitting down, the shirt fit. Standing up, had a little belly showing, which was a lot of fun. Scandal. The other story I'll tell is that probably within the first month, I was cited by the personnel manager for the skirt length, like
Uh-huh.
half an inch, half an inch.
Okay.
I laughed so hard. as he got out the ruler and everybody
Oh,
started
really?
going, oh, it's
I've
like
never
a
actually
sport.
seen this happen in real life.
Well,
I've
back
heard
in the
about it.
90s, it was a sport.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, Porter, what'd you do? And I was like, obviously, my, wherever I went, where did we shop back then? Macy's? Yeah. My Macy's skirt didn't work.
The other thing is, even if you aren't shopping for a dress and you're just shopping for a skirt, it's very hard to find a formal length skirt that doesn't have a slit in it or something else ridiculous about it, like that is totally sheer or from the knees
Yes.
down or something. It's still surprisingly hard to find. And when I do find those things at Macy's, it's in the Mother of the Bride section still.
Well, before I let you go, I want to request a tuxedo dress with a
Okay.
wide satin lapel. And it can, like you made your wrap, it could be a wrap dress, it could be a wrap, a heavier thing, but it was almost like a coat.
Do you have a photo?
From the 90s, I'll try and
We did
find
have
it.
cameras back then,
I'll
sort of.
try and find, I'll try and find me in the tuxedo dress. You got it. Another request I would
Okay.
like to make is for women who are pregnant while playing. Make a
Mm.
maternity top.
Well, I do sell some pieces that I have not designed. So I do sell other brands on my website. So we do have
Oh,
some maternity pieces.
great
No,
to know.
um,
Wow.
they're almost out of stock at the moment, but
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
effort has been made to be as inclusive as possible with plus sizes and more maternity wear. So stay tuned.
This is so great. Can you just do a commercial for yourself? Where are we going to buy all your outfits?
Blackstrad Concert Attire. You can find us on the web at blackstrad.com. We're also on Instagram, Blackstrad Concert Attire, Facebook, basically anywhere you can type Blackstrad Concert Attire, you are going to find us coming up. So hope to see
Oh,
you visit the website.
I am on the website right now and it's fabulous. I'm going shopping. Oh, everybody, blackstrad.com. Thank you so much, Mercedes Smith. I'm so excited to put this podcast out and help you get energy around your new company because I really believe that we need you.
You are the best. Thank you so much for having me. This
You're
was really fun.
welcome. Thanks for being here. I know where I'm going after this recording. Blackstrad.com. Let's do some shopping. And speaking of shopping, this is an ad-free podcast, so I'll do an ad for my book. Guess what? There's a new audio book coming out. I recorded it over the summer, and it's really good. So shout out to Robin Kimmy and Dave Shaw. Audiobooks coming next. So yeah, get your Anatomy of Sound copy today. And then if you're really waiting for the audiobook, just be patient. I'm getting to it. As you learned on this podcast, we do a lot of things ourselves. So thanks for being in PorterFlute Pod. I'm so grateful for you.